So, welcome. We've got a lot of ground to cover. I'm going to focus a lot on how to use this tool practically, how to understand it, why we need this tool, etc. So, let's begin first, just right out of the gate. Why do we need another search engine in Logos? If we click the search icon here at the top left, and I'm going to launch my little mouse helper here. You're going to see that Logos has a lot of search engines. We have the All Search, Bible, Books, Factbook, Morph, Media, Docs, Clause, Maps, Factbook, Tags, Bookstore, and Syntax. That's a lot of different search capabilities. And the Clause search is unique in that you get access to 3 different Bibles. You get a Greek New Testament, you get a Greek Old Testament, and then you get a Hebrew Bible. Now, this on the surface may be daunting if you don't know the original language, and that's okay. We're going to show you how to work through that. But this allows you to search at the original language level, but also, and most importantly, you're searching at the clause or phrase level. Particularly in the Greek, it is very common for words to be moved around the text for purpose of emphasis. So you could have a word at the front of the verse, you could have a word at the end of the verse, and you could have another word in the middle of the verse, and that's all part of one clause. Without Logos tagging these clauses, you couldn't easily search and differentiate and determine where does those words belong in what clause. And that's where the clause search is so helpful. So we're going to take advantage of that and do a bunch of searches both in the New Testament and the Old Testament. Now, the clause search has some examples right here. You can see, for example, entities, and we can search for people, places. Notice that there's not Greek or Hebrew right here in these particular things. We're leveraging the tags that Logos has. Then there's the senses. So you've searched on senses before, and you can search on senses within the clause, which is really handy. So we're not just looking at original language level, we're looking at all the tags as well. Then we're looking at semantic roles. So think of this as a more higher category. So instead of searching for a specific person, we're searching for the category or role of a father, etc. And so there's a lot of examples there. We scroll down, there's grammar that can play a role in our clause search, and even verbs, which means we can search for just the lemma. We can use lonida. So all those tags that you're seeing in the right-click menu are available to search in the clause menu. We can look at surface text and modifiers and even logical operators such as and, really key, and not, saying, hey, I want Holy Spirit, but I do not want God. We can also search on none and any. Those are very useful, as you're going to see. Now, what makes the clause search so powerful, besides searching with the specific clauses in mind, is all these features. But this is helpful, and by the way, as you probably know, you can click on any one of these examples and Logos will kick off a search. And so here we go on the sense to write or communicate. But I do recommend, though, that you open up the search. So click on search, click on clause, and if you press F1 on your keyboard, one of two things are going to happen. You're going to see on the new version of Logos this new help center, which is pretty handy, or you'll just see a regular help window open up. And depending on your version of Logos, it may open up to the clause search or it may not. Now, I'm just curious, did anyone, when they pressed F1, did anyone open up and the help center did not show up? That's really what I'm kind of targeting. And so if you can just type in what did appear instead of the help center, I would be real curious to know. Now, if the help center did appear for you, all you have to do is scroll down and look for clause search. Very important you do this. Now, what's going to open up is the Logos help book or the manual. So if you want to get to there directly, just click the library icon and type in Logos help, and then click rank. And you will see the Logos help manual. Go ahead and click that, and that will get you there. So I'm going to close the help center down. I'm going to left click on the tab, drag it over here to the right, And then what you want to do to navigate to clause search is literally just type in clause. In the search box at the top left, you'll see two options. Click the first of the two, clause search. Now, why are we running to the help menu? Because in this particular example, the help window is important because it's going to list for you all the clause search fields. Now, this can be a little outdated. I'm going to give you an example here. If we scroll down in the list, you can see there's all these different options. There's one called temporal. And if we were to go to search and click on more and click clause, and we were to paste in temporal, you'll see it's in red. That tells you that this is no longer a field you can use. So this is really helpful. So I like to just select the text. It's a great way to do it. So let's select subject, and we're going to copy it in there. And you'll see that subject appears in the list, as well as many others. And this is how I recommend using the manual when you first get started. In fact, what I recommend doing if you're going to do a lot of these is create a shortcut on your shortcut toolbar. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and just get rid of one of these real quick here and make some room for it. So I'm going to left click and hold my left mouse button down on the Logos Help tab and just drag that right up there. So now I've got quick access there. The other question mark opens up the Help Center. Now we could type in, again, clause syntax and do search, and you'll see that we've got more information. So that's helpful, but not really what we're looking for. So I recommend getting to this spot where these are listed. In fact, let me just do this one more time. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go right to the top of the clause search fields. Now my position is stored, and then I'm going to left click, drag the Logos Help, and put it on the shortcut toolbar. If I click the X and close the tab, and then click on my shortcut, it takes me right to the clause search field. So if you're going to start playing around with this, I recommend in the early stages do this because you're going to need this list of all the possible search fields, and it is a lot. All right, so we've got the help here. Now what I want to do tonight is kind of guide you a little bit and give you some help to kind of organize all these. And I'm just going to go ahead and kind of paste it into the shortcut or paste it into the chat box. So there's going to be 7 categories because there's a lot of these fields. I think it's like 51 or so, okay? And I've organized them, and this isn't a strict organizational scheme, but I think you'll find it helpful. So the first one is what I describe as main participants in the action. Who is doing the action or what's involved? Now, you can see I've listed there. In fact, let me do this. I'm just going to go ahead and open up a Word document and just kind of put this right in here. In fact, give me a second here to close this down and close that down. All right. And we'll just bring in Word. In fact, better yet, let's do this. Let's actually open up a note document in Logos. So we're going to go to Tools. We're going to type in Note. And we're going to click on Notes. And let's click on the hamburger menu so it's open. You can see it's there. If you click it, it goes away. And let's create a new notebook together. So we're going to click on Notebook. And then I'm going to click on the plus inside the circle. And we're going to title this Clause Search Fields or Clause Syntax Search Fields. There we go. All right. Now, as soon as we press enter, it's going to disappear because Logos is going to sort it in alphabetical order. So we need to go find that by clicking on the search magnifying glass. And we'll go ahead and type in clause, and there's clause syntax search field. Now, the reason I'm doing this is I'll be able to share this note with you later if you aren't able to keep and follow along. Now that we've got the notebook created, we need to create a note. So I'm going to click on New Note. And there we go. Now, I want to make this easier to use, so I'm going to hide these first 2 columns. And we're going to click this little double arrow there at the top right. You can kind of see that right there. Okay. Now, we'll go ahead and click that once. And then we're going to go right into the note content area and paste it. So here we go. Main participants in the action. And like I said, who is acting or what is involved. Now let's go over to the clause search at the left and do a couple of these just to see what's going on. So I'm going to type in the word subject and colon. Now, as you can see, we can do subject in a variety of them. And I want to put in, let's say, Jesus. All right, so we type in Jesus. Now, by the way, notice as I type, Logos is giving me options. This can be really useful in prompting you for some ideas or suggestions. So we could search on Jesus specifically, or we can search on Jesus's robe, or Jesus's brothers, or Jesus's garments, places Jesus went. There's a lot more to think through as you study this. Now, keep things simple. Let's choose Jesus's robe. All right, so we go ahead and choose that, press enter, and this happens sometimes. You get nothing back. Now, it's really frustrating when this happens because it's like, wait a minute, it came up as an option. And I wanted to let you know this happens often. Now, sometimes the reason you don't see anything is it could be something in the Old Testament. So I clicked on that, nothing's there. It could be a Lexham Bible, nothing there, of course. So we're going to go back to the Greek, New Testament. So in this case, nothing came back. And this one doesn't require putting things in quotes. Now, the reason things show up here is because there really is real data. We could search on Jesus's robe in a regular interlinear Bible and get some results back. But this subject, Jesus robe, is very specific. So let's make our search very generic and choose the first one, subject Jesus. And we'll go ahead and run the search. As you can see, we got back 3,976 hits. That is a lot, but we can see a couple things happening. Now, first, you may notice that I have a Greek Bible at the left and an English Bible at the right. If you're only getting Greek, let me show you how to fix that. So I'm going to hide my Bible, and you're going to see an Add Versions option. Go ahead and click that. Then type in your preferred Bible. I'm going to put in the NASB 95. Make sure it's an interlinear Bible, by the way. That's going to be really handy later. Now, after you type it, you may want to click on it, but if you click on it, you'll see that it was not added. This is kind of a little quirky thing about Logos. So you need to click in the box once. Then after you click in the box and the menu appears, press enter once and press enter a second time. And that will add the Bible to the search result window. And you're going to need this. Very few of us can read Greek as easily as we can read our own language, and therefore I recommend adding that. Okay, so we've got our Bible, and the second thing that this does is it's highlighting the phrase or the clause. So this particular verse has two clauses. Jacob was the father of Joseph, the husband of Mary. That's clause number one. Clause number two is by whom Jesus was born, who is called the Messiah. Those commas in there throw you off because it makes it look like there's three clauses, the first, the second, and third, but that's not the case in the Greek. Now, if you look at the Greek, you can see that this is all in a row. But if we look at, for example, verse 20, there is a extra word between the gar. There's two words on both sides, so that clause is broken up. If we scroll down, we can see this is quite common, but here's a good example of a bigger word with a preposition day in there. This one, let's see, just scrolling down. So this is showing you how clauses can be at different sizes, that they can be broken up, and this can throw your studies quite off. Okay, so we run this clause search, subject Jesus. We got back a lot of verses. Pretty awesome. Now, we can, and this is one of the neat things to do, is you can add a second element in there. I'm going to type in agent and put colon. Now, here's where it's tricky. What if you don't know what to put in? This is where these other ones down below can be very useful. So we can choose agent any. Think of this as a wild card. It's going to include any verse, and this is key, where Jesus is the subject and there is an agent in the text. This is important. If there is no agent in the text, then this verse it will not show that passage. You see why our search results went down to 2803? So we're saying there must be an agent in this text. If there's not, then don't return that verse. That's why we have different search results. This is a really important concept. We started off with 3,976 with Jesus in the clause, but then we added this agent any. Now notice I didn't put a Boolean operator, but it's a good habit to put in and so that you have both. And there's our 2803. So any passage that has Jesus as subject but does not have an agent is not going to be in our search results. Another important nuance to the clause syntax or the syntax search. Now, we don't know what the agent is. This is probably the biggest frustration in using the tool. Now, sometimes you can look at it and go, I think I know what it is. Maybe it's people, like this first one in Matthew 1:21. So just for the fun of it, we'll put in people. And let's see what happens if we get the results for Matthew 1:21. We don't. And so this becomes a guessing game, and this will drive you nuts. But I have a simple solution for you that will really solve this. All right, so here's what we're going to do. Let's say, and this is a rule that I use all the time. When I'm trying to find examples, I find one example. In this case, Matthew 1:21. And that's the passage I want to study. So I'm going to click on all passages, and I'm going to put in the verse Matthew 1:21. And I'm going to choose it right here, the first row below, and click Save. Notice that Logos prompts me for a name. I'm going to leave Matthew 1:21 as the verse and press Enter. Now, why are we doing this? One, I don't want to look at thousands of results. I just want to look at this one. This one fit my criteria. But what I want to know is what other criteria can I search on? For example, what is the agent in this passage? We don't know. So let's click on Analysis. Now, this is going to blow you away. And this is like one of those hidden features in Logos. Now, you'll notice that in the results, in the analysis view, we've got all these columns. A reference column, a clause column, a verb lemma. If we float our mouse over it, it doesn't give us a title. So we have to kind of right-click on it, and this pop-up menu appears. You've probably done this before and wondered, boy, what are all these things in here? Now, here's what I recommend you do. Uncheck everything. Now, this is going to take me a few moments. All right, but I'm going to uncheck all these options because I don't need them. And it's because there's so many, it takes up so much of my screen. I'll be scrolling back and forth, and they'll just drive me nuts. So we're going to go ahead and keep right-clicking and unchecking. Now, we want subject because we had that. Verb is good. Let's get rid of these other ones. We're almost there. Verb morph. We do like the verb lemma. The clause, we'd like to see what the clause is, and the reference. Okay, now if we scroll down, there may be a few others in there. There it is, verb root. As I said, there is a lot of options. Verb sense, and you can see that it takes a little time to uncheck all of these. So over the years of using this tool, I have found this to be probably the best strategy. All right, so we're almost there. And there we go. And I like the translation. That can be pretty handy, so it's up to you. By the way, if you float your mouse between the columns, you'll see an arrow, really a double arrow, and that allows you to move to resize the column, and then it's easier to read the labels. Okay, and there we go. And just for the fun of it, if you, like, I don't want to see all the Greek, so I'm going to move it in a little bit. Okay, so this is the first stage in the analysis view. So let's review what we've done so far. We put in some criteria that we wanted. We definitely wanted subject. We want to search on an agent, but we don't know the agent. So we put in any. And then we did get results. We changed our passage not to be all verses, but the one we're studying. Now, let's say we wanted to discover the agent in this clause. How do we do that? So we right-click on one of the column labels, doesn't matter which one, and we look for agent. So let's scroll down and look for agent in the list. And there it is. Notice it's not in alphabetical order, which complicates things a little bit. So I'm going to click on agent, and there it is. Jesus is the subject and the agent. Who would have thought? So what we're going to do now is we're going to click in and get rid of any and type in Jesus and select him from the menu and press enter. Now, if the search was done correctly and we press enter,